With the replacement riders, it's part of the contract that the teams have with IRTA to supply riders. So they have a contract, they have to show up at every race, they have to be ready to race at every race. If their rider is injured or for another force majeure reason cannot compete, they are obliged to replace the rider. There's a 10-day limit on that, and the reason for the 10-day limit is that if a rider is injured at one event and is therefore withdrawn, and there's another race the very next weekend, for example a flyaway race, then they're not pressured to find another rider. It may be difficult to get a rider in that short amount of time. So 10 days allows them, if necessary, to go through 2 back-to-back races without replacing. They must replace within 10 days. So in the normal European schedule where there's a race every 2 weeks, if a rider is injured at one event or withdrawn, they have to replace that rider by the next event. If they want to replace a rider sooner, which most of them want to do, there's a time limit after the event has started as to time limit when a rider can be replaced. And the idea is to give them enough practice so that they know the track. In Moto2 and Moto3, the time limit is 2 hours after free practice 2, so it means end of Friday. MotoGP, the time limit is 2 hours before the qualifying session. In MotoGP, it's allowed. So MotoGP has a little bit longer to find a rider, mostly because MotoGP has a qualifying 4 session, which Moto2 and Moto3 don't have. So yeah, midday Saturday for MotoGP and end of Friday for Moto2, Moto3.
Well, it's really, really lovely to see this young man in this garage. Garrett Gerloff, the American who had a breakthrough season in World Superbike, of course, is going to be having a little run out on Valentino Rossi's machine. Now, Valentino Rossi, as you may remember, of course, tested positive just after Le Mans. He missed both races in Aragon.
The case, Gerloff and Valentino, was considered a force majeure. It was a situation, not a normal injury from a motorcycle crash or something like that, where if a rider is declared unfit, that's it, he's out. This was more like force majeure, where it depended on the COVID tests as to whether the rider could ride again or not.
Valentino Rossi is back, having tested negative twice. The number 46 not been out on circuit since Le Mans. Good to have him back in the paddock.
So under those rules, the substitution is allowed, and as long as the time limit is respected, which is at least 2 hours before qualifying starts, it's okay.